for the longer game instead of just ending things early. Both players want to take a lead in this game, but I don't think either player knows really what's going on at this point. Looking at Mihai's vision cam, yes, he does not know about that Forge, Twilight Council, or the Templar Archives. But so he doesn't know if his opponent is upgrading. He doesn't really know what his opponent is doing at this point. He saw gateway units, and he probably has a good count on those gateway units. And he didn't see very many. He saw maybe 5 or 6 zealots, 3 or 4 stalkers total. So he knows that there has to be something up.
Something really interesting I want to point out is we see this a lot, but this is actually a lot of pylons being placed to watch for drops. There are 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top of the map at the very edges to make sure that any medevacs going by are caught by Fiery's vision. And this is so smart. He's got High Templars at the bottom right of his natural, just looking for any drops to feedback. And he knows the timing on medevacs. He knows that there are probably a couple out at this point, and there are indeed 2. Terran Force pushing across here, but charge is done. +1 armor is done. There are a good number of zealots here, and with Storm completed already, I really think that Mihai is kind of pushing his luck with this force he's moved out with.
Ooh, that's a lot of zealots in that armor. If he can get a good concave, they do have charge at this point though, and the Storm is just now finishing, like you did say, Chris. But oh, he's going to end up loading the medevacs. He's probably going to be dropping the main very shortly. Yeah,
and it looks like Fiery is absolutely prepared for it, already moving all of his units to the back of his main, and going to go ahead and start that third. And I think that's kind of a weird choice, considering he just moved all of his units onto the high ground. You're going to have to cancel it and just lose that 100 minerals right away. Our Terran player, Mihai, unloads, scans, reloads, and looks like he's just going to go for it, man.
Oh, yeah, that is so annoying for our Protoss player, being dropped and attacked at the front at the same time. But oh no, those 2 medevacs caught out of position. Oh, and some great feedbacks. There's one medevac that does go down, and it looks like more of those units are going to fall, and that one last medevac does die with only 3 Marines and a Marauder surviving that engagement.
It was actually so awesome. He used his pylon that was looking for drops to warp in stalkers so that he could flank the medevacs and keep them from getting away. And he actually killed both of them, so that's 200 minerals, 200 gas, plus the units that were lost in that engagement. And Fiery, I mean, let's take a look at the units lost tab. It's 16-5. Mihai has lost 3 times the amount of resource Fiery has at this point.
Indeed. And you know what Fiery is doing? He's extending his advantage and grabbing that third base. That is a very good decision on his part. He knows he has the tech advantage at this point. He doesn't know about the economic advantage because Terran could always have that third orbital in his main base, but we do see, oh, that Zealot does end up scouting that orbital command, falling at the third of Mihai.
All right, so Mihai looks like he's going to move his army over in order to defend it. Both players holding their own watchtowers. Look at Fiery's vision on the map, man. He's got every single side of the map covered. This is incredible map vision right here. He's going to get a couple of observers out through this robotics facility he put out. And one of the things I love about this style of play is it's actually the opposite of the normal deadly tech switch. Normally, you see Colossus into High Templar and there are no ghosts out. But this is going to force ghosts, and then he's going to get, like, Colossus out, I think, at some point. And there are going to be no Vikings. And dealing with mass Colossus with no Vikings is probably just as hard as dealing with High Templar with no ghosts.
Exactly, and we do see that Fiery is going to be moving his way. Oh, having split decisions at this point. Doesn't know if he wants to move up yet or not. We do see, oh, Mihai stemming forward, going to be aggressive in this point of stance, and it looks like storms have not been used as of yet. So he's going to be okay until, oh, the Templar are going to be able to get to the top of the ramp. That is a bad position for our Terran player. Small chokes to the north and west side of that position of that third base, and it looks like he's just going to be using storms on those SCVs. Going to be trying to bait those storms, bait those stems, and see as much damage as he can poke out.
Yeah, the ghosts are completely out of energy at this point, and you know, a couple of storms are just going to decimate this small bio army. Fiery throwing them down preemptively, and Mihai dodging them preemptively. Such good micro so far by both these players.
Yes, and we do see, looking at the Templar, 1, 2... Oh, just 1 storm is available as of yet. 2 is almost on the way. Yes, 2 just now finished. Actually, 3 storms are now finished.
Oh,
but that was a great EMP. Great EMPs. And it looks like Terran's going to now be stim for. He knows there's no storm, but there's a lot of zealots in that army. He needs to get a good position, micro his units back. Oh, yes, he does end up microing the Marines, and it looks like this is going to be extremely close, Chris.
Yeah, take a look at the upgrades, too. It's currently 2-1 to 2-2, so that bonus armor upgrade is up for Fiery, but Mihai is actually even the supply count out. Fiery had a 20 supply lead, And, I really think that engagement would have gone a lot differently with a couple of sentries. Reducing the damage by 2 more for each shot would have been such a big deal and so helpful. But at this point, Fiery spending all of his gas on what looks to be a second Robo with a robotics bay. He's starting Colossus production, and he's got a lot of High Templar still. 3 in his army, and 1 looking for drops on both sides of his main and natural.
That is true. He has very little stalker count, so he's not going to help those medevacs, or at least bait the medevacs forward. And he really can't afford those heavy gas units, especially with this High Templar, Archon, Colossus count that he's trying to build up. On 3 bases, though, he does have those 6 gases, so as that kicks in, he's going to be in a lot better shape.
Yeah, and he's actually taking his 4th right now, a little bit haphazardly. It looks like Mihai does know about it. Fiery back in a supply lead by only 10 at this point. He has finished up +3 armor, I believe. Yeah, and he's got +3 weapons on the way, and +1 shields also. So smart by Mihai, using this factory to create a little bit of a choke against so many zealots. Decides to back off, though, doesn't quite have enough. And look how many ghosts are in this army.
That is a lot of ghosts, Chris. And, if he got some crucial EMPs off this fight, could go extremely one-sided for our Terran player, or extremely one-sided for our Protoss, but the second Colossi just now shows up. The Zealots are charging forward, and Wood Archon's getting a couple good shots off, and this is going to be so close.
Yeah, those Zealots are actually terrifying with that Colossus. This factory might go down. Okay, because that would have been a big deal with this Colossus, which only 1 starport is up right now for a Terran player.
Indeed, we do see 3-3 is on the way for our Terran player, as well as 3 attack is nearly finishing for our Protoss player, but it looks like, those poor Marines that got left behind, slaughtered by those Zealots. Those poor guys were like, please, I just want to go home. But unfortunately, Mihai had other plans for them, and it looks like a great scan did go down for Mihai. He's going to see exactly where that army is, and you know what? Fire's just going to push right into that 3rd base.
Yeah, and there are actually 2 command centers here. One made into an orbital, another one in production. A bunker actually going up at the 3rd here, and that's pretty interesting. Looks like, well, we have a small engagement at the bottom right, but all these scans going down. I don't think that Mihai thinks he can engage here. I wouldn't. He's down 25 supply. He's actually just pulling all his SCVs, running away, knowing that this is actually too many units. He kites a lot of the Zealots out a long ways, though, and with the Colossus and High Templar out of position, he might be okay here.
Yeah, he did have a couple of those ghosts die. Unfortunately, at the front, he didn't use the EMPs on them and the energy that it would have been ever so crucial in this fight. It's all going to come down to Micro at this point. Does he have enough? Oh, it's going to be so close. Those 2 Colossi are more than likely going to fall. He's going to step forward. Oh, is he going to kill everything? No, more Zealots have been warped in, and they're going to be chasing this army back. But if he can kill these Zealots and this next wave of units off, he should be okay.
Yeah, and that's a lot of Zealots. But keep in mind, Mihai no longer has a 3rd base, and there was a 4th up and mining for Fiery. Mihai's 3rd is lifted off and going to the bottom right corner, but there's already a pylon there just, waiting. And, Fiery can do basically whatever he wants. He has every tech tree unlocked at this point. He can go DTs, he can go speed prison with DTs. This game can get so annoying for our Terran player, especially with the position our Protoss is in.
It comes to ask, we see that Mihai is extremely behind right now. He just now got his 3rd reestablished, but he's lost a lot of SCVs, he's lost a lot of units. It's like, what caused this to happen? I mean, was it the early game aggression? It was just the fact that he let Fiery build up, but the final engagement.
Well, he actually EMPs absolutely everything. A couple of beautiful EMPs go down, and all of Fiery's army gets cleaned up. Supply has now re-evened out. Mihai has his 3rd back up, is starting another command center as his 4th. And it sucks that he has to keep remaking these command centers. He has to stay in this game, though. It's 68 to 92 harvesters, so Fiery almost doesn't have an army at this point.
Agreed, and we do see it looking at the food count. It's 136 to 158. That food differential is mostly harvesters at this point. We do see Protoss, so it has that 3-3 upgrade. Well, Terran does too at this point, but he has a lot of those heavy gas units, Archons, Colossi, Stalkers. He's getting that death ball yet again, and that's going to be so hard for Mihai to hold off.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying at this point, and Mihai getting a little out of position. I think he was on an attack move running away from that. Going to lose a lot of units in the back here. And he actually can't afford to do this. It's 178 to 140 supply. Another engagement goes down.
Indeed, we do see the Colossi getting some free shots off on those Marines. Those poor Marines are just getting melted away. And it looks like, Fiery's going to be trying to go for that 3rd base again. Going towards the direction that his reinforcement pylon is reinforced from that east position. Those pylons are allowing faster reinforcements. They're allowing that map vision. Those pylons are just what's winning him this game. That is something that every Protoss should do in this matchup.
Well, another engagement coming in here at the third of Mihai. Mihai using his buildings as a choke point. We saw him lift them off earlier so he could get better surface area on the Protoss units, and he's kiting very well. Only both the Colossus go down. There's only 2 Archons and a couple of Stalkers left here. Mihai holding off, but he is down 60 supply, so ton of reinforcements coming in for Fiery from somewhere. It looks like his 4th.
Oh, this is so close, Chris. He's just barely holding on to these engagements. He's getting great EMPs off. But, oh, that Colossi count, though. He's able to reinforce those Colossi, or remake those Colossi numbers very quickly. He is constantly, I think, does he have 1 or 2 robotics facilities? I think
he has at least 2. I know he has a second one. I saw it. Yeah, there's one at the top left of his main and one in the middle.
Oh, yes, he has double Colossi production. That is just so scary with the Protoss on 5 bases. Protoss can do whatever he wants at this point, while Terran's just struggling to try and get back into this game.
Yeah, it looks like Mihai has taken a 4th at the left middle location. I don't even know what to call that. He does have his 3rd back up, but his main and natural are mined out. He can drop all his mules at this 4th. He actually sacrificed some ghosts going up onto the high ground. That was a little bit of a mistake. But he's got a lot of Vikings. Not a whole lot of bio, though. Again, 124 to 200 supply. Fiery on 5 bases now. 3 of them still mining. And he has complete map dominance. I mean, again, look at the vision of Fiery. It's just...
He does play forward. He's going to pick up 2 and 3 Vikings, picking up a couple Marines as well, and it looks like Fiery is going to be moving forward. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. Fiery is on fire at this point. 4 Colossi, a ton of Archons, a ton of Stalkers and Zealots. It looks like he's going to be able to take the cake right here, Chris.
Yeah, can you think of a more deadly composition from Protoss? Like, I guess he could have thrown 20 Void Rays in there or something, but this is what Protoss strives to get at the end of the game, and he is at that point. So, Mihai just struggling to stay in this game and stay alive, but his supply count is not even close to Fiery. Fiery could even have an epic misclick and probably still win this game at this point.
Indeed. 80 supply to 198. Mihai's trying to do whatever he can to hold on. There's the GG for Mihai. Fiery taking that game extremely one-sidedly. Well, not exactly one-sidedly, but it was very decisive from the very beginning. He had an attack advantage early off, then that economic advantage throughout the mid-game, and later on, all that came together to create a beautiful late game.
Game number 1, 26 minutes long. And Mihai, who all killed the team they played last week, I don't remember who it was. I should probably check up on that. But he all killed the team last week, and he gets taken out in the first game by my intent.
That is, I don't know. It's either his nerves getting to him, thinking that he, that he was like, oh, I'm gonna win this game, and then like he gets overconfident. Or that could be just like maybe that's just not his best matchup, because I don't know exactly the games that he had last. Do you know what day it was by chance? I don't know.
Well, you know, something that a lot of Terrans have been saying is if the Protoss goes Nexus first and you just 1-racks expand, you're actually behind. So a lot of Terrans have been doing, 1-racks expanded to double command center. You could be doing 1-racks 1-racks fake expand into like 5-racks, like. They're either trying to punish it or be more greedy. And then the Protosses have come up with this build that's like, oh, 3 Nexus off of 1 Forge and 1 Gateway. And so now, like, everything is coming into this culmination of, let's just out-expand each other at the entire beginning of the game, because it's so hard to punish a Protoss player that goes Nexus first and knows what he's doing.
Exactly. And you know what? That is just so hard. Like, for any matchup, like, if you don't know exactly how to break someone at a specific point, be it ZVP, ZVT. Like, if they do a run rest expand or maybe a Nexus first or a CC first, and they get 2 or 3 bunkers up, there's no way you're going to stop that. So, like, you can either spend a lot of units, waste a lot of money, and if you don't do damage, you're automatically behind, or just expand yourself where you know you're safe because he's not going to be attacking you anytime soon, and take the economic advantage, well, at least even up the economic advantage yourself. So, like, what's the best decision to make in that circumstance? Well, obviously, you're going to expand.
That's absolutely right. And, I think one of the most important facets of that particular game is Mihai moved out in the early mid-game with that 2 medevac force, tried to do that drop, and both of them got picked off, and it completely negated his ability to do any kind of damage.
Indeed. And now, that's just kind of a momentum thing. Like, his first big attack got completely shut down. Like, and then we saw throughout the rest of the game, like, he wasn't really inside the Protoss's base that much. He wasn't able to drop because of the pylons. Wasn't able to take map presence because of the pylons. Like, those pylons were just they were awesome. I had not seen a Protoss do that.
I took a base, like,
our player from My Intent just like he saw it. There was a pylon behind the mineral line, looking for drops, looking for bait.